So here's the video on how to finish off the rest of your project. Most of you have your list done because that was supposed to be done last week. My sample only has 5. Remember, you need 10. And then you need the size and you need the price. Now, if you're like most people, you didn't follow directions at the beginning and you don't have any labels on here at all. So when you get done and you graph it, you're not going to know what they are. So the first thing we need to do if we don't have labels is we need to come up here and we need to click on the one and then right click and go to insert one above. Now, if you set your information up vertically instead of horizontally, all you have to do to get that empty column next to that is come to the A and right click and insert one to the left. So now you can put labels there. Now I don't need both of those because I'm set up horizontally. So I'm going to undo and just go with this. This is your item. This is called your unit size. And this is item cost. Then we've got to finish off these labels. We're going to go with size in ounces. We're going to go with cost per ounce. And then finally, cost per gallon. Now, if you remember back to when we first started this project, we learned how to have the computer do math for us. And that's what we're going to do here for these last two. So the first thing we need to do is fill this size in ounce column. If it was originally ounces, all you're going to do is take the number that's here and you're going to transfer it here. However, if you had a gallon, you're going to need to look up how many ounces are in a gallon, which happens to be 128. Oh, hang on. I've got mine turned white. There we go. And this one too. Okay, another gallon. So I'm going to put another 128. That's 2 ounces. So I'm going to put 2. This is 16.9. If you had a quart, you need to look up how many ounces are in a quart and put it here. If you had 2 liters, same thing. Notice in this column and in this column, there are no letters. There's only numbers. This column is formatted to be money. So we have a dollar sign, but because it's formatted that way, the dollar sign won't get in the way. If you have letters in there, it's going to throw you an error message because the computer cannot do computations with letters. So now we're going to do our cost per ounce. Anytime we write a function, we always have to start with an equal sign. And we want to take the item cost and then put our slash in to divide by the size in ounces. Then once you do that, you can hit enter. Now on most computers, it will do an autofill. But if it doesn't, you'll notice, let's write it again, equal cost divided by size. You'll notice when we go back up that there's a little box. If you put your cursor on that box and get the crosshairs and then you click and drag that down, it's going to apply that function all the way down. Now the last step we need to do to finish this data table is figure our cost per gallon. So we're going to start with an equal sign. We know there's 128 ounces in a gallon, and we're going to put our star. That's shift and 8, or use the star in your number pad. And if 1 ounce costs this, 128 of them will be a gallon. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to hit enter. Yep, we want to autofill, and that gives us our cost per gallon. Now we need to graph this one and have data labels over here from this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to gather that, select it, and we're going to come up to our graph. Excuse me, it's a chart for their term. We're going to go to insert chart, and they said a column chart, and yes, that's what we want. And they're being intuitive, guessing, and they guessed right. And if you noticed, we have a label on here, cost per gallon, and we have a title as well. So the only thing we have to do now is get the labels for the bars. So our x-axis, we want to be our items. So I'm going to select that, tell it OK. And now, oh, what are we missing? Oh, I know why it did that. We're missing Coke because that's putting Coke over here as a title. So we're going to go back and we're going to do it again. And this time, we're going to go with all of them. Start with item, which should put that as the title, and then it'll put Coke on there. There we go. So now we have our graph. It's a column chart. I'm good with that. I'm going to come over to customize because I like 3D charts. So I'm going to go there. And now I've got it the way I want it. Let's see here. My horizontal axis, do I want it like that? I want to make it bigger. There we go. And now I'm going to go play a little bit. I want my Coke to be kind of brown because Coke's brown. I want my milk to be white, but if it's white, can we see it on the backdrop? No, we can't. So, come on. That's really hard to see because it's so small. Maybe I'll just leave that blue. Let me take my Tabasco, and I'm going to make my Tabasco red. It's going to let me get to my water. It did. Let's make my water dark blue. I'm going to make my gas. There we go. A gray. Actually, gas is kind of yellowish. And finally, milk. And we're back to arguing with milk again. There we go. Milk is white, but can't see white. That's not too bad. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to make my background. Go away. Background, a very, very light gray. There we go. Now I can see everything very well. So now my chart is done. Now the final thing I have to do is do my write-up. What you're doing is you're going to look at this graph and you're going to say, oh, wow, I noticed something's really expensive or something is a lot cheaper than I thought it was, and comparing this to that and so on and so forth. And you're going to put a paragraph in analyzing and writing your summary after you look at it and analyze it. So we're going to come to Insert. We're going to come to a drawing. And in our drawing tools, we have a T and a square, and that is a text box. So we're going to take that. And this is where you're going to put your paragraph summarizing your analysis of the data. You need 4 to 5 sentences to explain your findings, talk about what you see, comma, what you expected versus what you found, and if there were any surprises. Once you're done, you're going to hit Save and Close, and it's going to throw it in there. Where did my paragraph? There it is. And we're going to grab it and we're going to move it up here. So you have your data table, your graph, and your write-up all in one spot. Once you have all that on there, you're done with your project and you can go click Turn In. If you have any questions, DM me on Classroom or email me. Have a great day.